What if I told you that one of the biggest business failures in history happened because a company was afraid of its own invention? Imagine creating a technology that could change the world forever. A technology so powerful that it would completely transform the way billions of people capture memories. Now imagine ignoring that invention, protecting your old business, and watching competitors become rich from your own idea. That is exactly what happened to Kodak. For most of the 20th century, Kodak was photography. Its famous yellow logo was recognized across the globe. Families used Kodak cameras to capture birthdays, weddings, vacations, and some of the most important moments of their lives. The company dominated the photography industry for decades. At its peak, Kodak controlled nearly the entire film market. Its profits were enormous, its brand was trusted, and its future seemed guaranteed. Many people believed Kodak would remain the king of photography forever. But hidden inside the company was an invention that would eventually destroy everything. An invention that Kodak itself created. The year was 1975. A young engineer named Steven Sasson was working inside Kodak's research laboratory. His job was to experiment with new technologies and explore future possibilities. What he created would change history. Using electronic sensors, lenses, wires, and experimental components, Sasson built the world's first digital camera. The device looked nothing like modern cameras. It was large, heavy, and slow. Capturing a single image took more than 20 seconds. The image quality was poor by today's standards. But none of that mattered. For the first time in history, a photograph could be captured without film. It was a glimpse into the future. A future where people would no longer need film rolls. A future where photographs could exist entirely in digital form. Kodak had just invented that future. But instead of celebrating the breakthrough, company executives became worried. Very worried. Kodak's entire business depended on selling film. If digital photography became popular, people might stop buying film forever. The invention that could make Kodak even more powerful also had the potential to destroy the business. That made the company successful. And that fear would eventually become one of the most expensive mistakes in business history. As the years passed, Kodak continued making enormous profits from film photography. The company became one of the most successful businesses in America, earning billions of dollars and dominating the global photography market. Executives saw little reason to change. Customers were still buying film, printing photographs, and filling family albums with Kodak memories. Everything seemed perfect. But outside Kodak's headquarters, technology was evolving faster than ever before. Computers were becoming more powerful. Electronic devices were becoming smaller. And digital technology was improving year after year. While Kodak focused on protecting its film empire, competitors around the world began preparing for a different future. Technology companies invested heavily in digital imaging research. They saw what Kodak refused to fully accept. The future of photography would not be film. It would be digital. Kodak knew this future was coming because its own engineers had warned management for years. Internal reports repeatedly predicted that digital photography would eventually replace traditional film. But accepting that reality meant risking billions of dollars in profits. Company leaders faced a difficult choice. They could embrace the future and potentially damage their existing business. Or they could continue protecting the business that made them successful. Unfortunately, Kodak chose to move slowly. The company released digital cameras, but it never committed to the technology with the urgency that the situation required. Executives feared that every digital camera sold might reduce film sales. This created a dangerous conflict inside the company. Kodak was trying to protect the past while competing for the future. As the internet expanded across the world, consumer behavior began changing rapidly. People wanted instant results. They wanted to see photographs immediately. They wanted to store thousands of images digitally and share them with friends and family. The convenience of digital photography was impossible to ignore. Every year, digital cameras became better, cheaper, and more popular. Meanwhile, demand for traditional film slowly began to decline. The warning signs were everywhere. But by the time Kodak realized how serious the threat had become, The company was already falling behind. By the early 2000s, the digital revolution was impossible to stop. Consumers were abandoning film faster than Kodak had expected. Digital cameras were appearing everywhere, and new technology companies were capturing the attention of the market. People no longer wanted to wait days to see their photographs. They wanted instant results. They wanted convenience. They wanted the future. Kodak still had one of the most recognizable brands in the world, but a famous name was no longer enough. Competitors moved aggressively into digital photography while Kodak struggled to reinvent itself. The company spent billions of dollars trying to catch up, launching new digital products and investing heavily in technology. But years of hesitation had already given rivals a massive advantage. As digital cameras became mainstream, film sales collapsed. The business that had generated enormous profits for decades was disappearing before Kodak's eyes. Revenue began falling. Profits shrank. Investors grew concerned. Employees worried about the future. The company that once dominated photography was now fighting to survive. Then another unexpected challenge arrived. Smartphones began improving their cameras at an incredible pace. Suddenly, people no longer needed a separate camera to take photographs. The device in their pocket could do the job. This change made the situation even worse for Kodak. The company was being squeezed from every direction. Film was dying, digital camera competition was increasing, and smartphones were changing the entire industry. The warning signs that had once seemed distant had finally become reality. Kodak had invented the future, but it had failed to lead it. And now the cost of that mistake was becoming impossible to ignore. By 2012, Kodak could no longer escape reality. The company that had once defined photography for generations was facing one of the darkest moments in its history. Decades of dominance had come to an end. Film sales had collapsed, digital competition had intensified, and the business model that once made Kodak powerful was no longer sustainable. In January 2012, Eastman Kodak filed for bankruptcy protection. The news shocked millions of people around the world. For generations, Kodak had been more than a company. It had been a part of family memories, vacations, birthdays, weddings, and historic moments. Now the giant that once ruled photography was fighting for survival. Many people ask the same question. How could a company that invented the world's first digital camera end up losing the digital revolution? The answer was not a lack of innovation. Kodak had brilliant engineers. It had resources. It had talent. What Kodak lacked was the willingness to fully embrace a future that threatened its existing business. The company spent too much time protecting the past while competitors built the future. And in technology, the future rarely waits for anyone. Yet Kodak's story is not just about failure. It is about a lesson that every business, entrepreneur, and individual should remember. Success can be dangerous when it creates complacency, the very thing that makes a company successful today can become the reason it struggles tomorrow. Markets change, technology changes, consumer behavior changes, and those who refuse to adapt often pay the highest price. Kodak invented the future but failed to lead it. Its story remains one of the most powerful warnings in business history. It reminds us that innovation alone is not enough. Seeing the future is not enough. To survive, you must be willing to embrace change before it becomes unavoidable. Because in the end, the greatest threat to success is not competition. It is the belief that success will last forever.